Hi, my name is Pam, and I have Crohn's disease, and this is my story. Prior to the age of 9, I was going to the bathroom a lot. I had lost a considerable amount of weight and had a lot of nausea and abdominal pain. In fact, my dad used to joke that when we would go to restaurants that I was the bathroom inspector. I became even more ill, and it was very clear that something was wrong. I was tired all the time. I didn't want to go out and play like the other kids. So my mom had me admitted to a local hospital, and I was there for 2 weeks while they did various tests. At the end of 2 weeks, the doctor spoke to my mom, and they said, "We couldn't find anything physically wrong, but we think she's depressed," and they sent me home with a referral. I went home, and unfortunately, I continued to be very ill. So my mom pushed forward, and she found a gastroenterologist at the same hospital where I had been previously. And he did a test, the one test that they didn't do, which was called the endoscope. And he took a biopsy, and he discovered that I had Crohn's disease. I was so relieved to find out what was going on with me. And they explained chronic illness to me, and I understood. But part of me, and this is something that's been part of me for many years until recently, is I always thought maybe I'm going to pass away earlier than other people because of having this illness at a young age. During that period of time, there wasn't a whole lot of information about Crohn's, and there was only 2 medicines at the time. One was called sulfasalidine, and the other one is called steroids. That's all they had. They didn't have any support groups. And my doctor also told me if I had gotten Crohn's 20 years earlier, I could have died from it. I honestly don't know how many times I've been hospitalized. I couldn't even guess. But it's been a lot. And but one thing I do want to say to the young people who have just been diagnosed with Crohn's, you're very blessed because they're a lot more humane with the tests than they used to be. The tests in the past were given usually without any anesthesia. One time I had my stomach looked at, and I just sat in a doctor's office. They sprayed the back of my throat, and they put a tube down me, and I was wide awake. And they don't do that anymore. And when they do an endoscope, you were wide awake. There was nothing to relax you. I'm so happy now that they're a lot more humane with the tests, and that they usually sedate you. So I'm very happy about that. And also I'm very happy about the fact that medical people are becoming more informed as to how painful this illness is. Unfortunately, at the age of 36, I had to stop working. What was going on is the drugs stopped working for me. And I was averaging 2 weeks in the hospital out of every month for like a 12-month period. And finally, they had to do surgery. So I've had one surgery, and they call it a right hemicolectomy, kind of like a resection, but it's just a little bit different. I'd also want to say that those 2 weeks prior to my surgery were the scariest time I've had in my entire life. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, in and out of consciousness, and the one thing I do remember is a nurse telling me, "Don't worry, we've contacted the government to release another antibiotic for you, and we're waiting to hear back." But unfortunately, none of the antibiotics worked. Nothing was working. And that, to me, was very scary. And my body hasn't felt the same since that happened. It took a lot out of me. I also have a history of abscesses and fistulas in the rectal area. I have had I wouldn't call it major surgery, but minor surgery regarding the abscesses. So that is something that I get quite frequently. About 2 or 3 months after the surgery, I started having really bad leg pain and joint pain, my spine. Everything hurt terribly, and I became very stiff. I had a hard time functioning. Unfortunately, I'm in a small percentage group of Crohn's patients. I have something called ankylosing spondylitis. It's basically arthritis. And I have degenerative disc disease in my neck, arthritis in my knees and in my hips. And I also have scoliosis. So that's why I became disabled. But for my current situation right now, and pretty soon I'm going to be going on the drug Entyvio, which is given through an infusion at the hospital. I've been on Humira for many years now. So I'm just thrilled about how they have all these new drugs, and Entyvio is supposed to be a lot safer because it only deals with the intestine. And my fear that I used to have for most of my life, that I might pass away earlier than other people, I have far exceeded what I ever thought I would do. I'm 50 years old. Last year in 2017, I turned 50, and I'm so proud because I fought so hard, and I've had some really great doctors, and I feel very blessed. So to wrap things up, the purpose of me sharing this video is I hope to give hope to those who are younger and have Crohn's disease, that you too will live a long life, and even though it's very hard and tough at times, it's totally worth it. And I am so grateful for everything and everyone who has helped me along the way. If you're a Crohn's disease patient and you have any more questions or you're looking for support, please feel free to write me at lovetocreate1@outlook.com. Thanks for listening and take care.